Come on. Come on. There we go. I just need a purple piece. God. Maybe this one? There we go. There we go. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was playing insert popular mobile game here. Hi guys. How's it going? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loreweek. You know, I've been debating doing this for a while. Really good time as any. Let's fiddle with the chat settings. If I can. Here we go. Hey Juanta. Hey Corrales. Maybe we could go old school with this. Whoa, no, that looks terrible. Oh my god. And that's formatted terrible. Wow, most of these look terrible. I don't think this is going to work, guys. Maybe if I do this one? I mean, we could do the default. We're just using the default right now, right? Yeah, we are. Hey, Berenian. Let's see what happens if we do this. Whoa, that's like barely visible. Maybe this? See what this does. Nope, that also looks terrible. Hey, Spirit of Memory. How's it going? Hey, Max Time. All the lore to fill your week. I don't know. How visible is that? What do you think? Because I can't see what you guys are seeing. So how does this look to you guys? Is this easier to read? Harder to read? Give me some feedback, guys. I need feedback. Because I don't see what you see. There's Salder. Hi, Salder. I poke you. Poke. Because this at least has the outline, so it's popping out a bit on my side. Whatever. So, I found out something weird recently. CBS has decided, for some reason, to go ahead and release the pilot for Star Trek Discovery for free on CBS. Now, I don't know when they actually announced that. Like, I'm not sure when that became a thing. I became aware of it yesterday. See, my step-parents were watching TV, and an advert came on. And it was the first Star Trek Discovery advert they had seen. And they're like, oh, hey, cool, you know. And then it's like, available on CBS and CBS All Access Sunday. And I'm like, well, that's weird. And I did some digging. And I found out that they're releasing just the pilot on CBS. Everything else requires CBS All Access. So, I'm pretty sure this is a recent thing. But what interests me even more about that is that this is the first advert they had seen on TV yesterday for Star Trek Discovery. Now, they watch TV every day. And they watch channels that show Star Trek stuff all the time. And the first time ever that they have seen an advert on television for Star Trek Discovery was yesterday. I'm sorry, but that to me is interesting and indicative. And I can barely hear this music. I'm going to turn this up a bit. There we go. Can you hear the music now? That's weird, Gnarlex, because I haven't. And I've been to several movies lately, and so have my friends. Whatever. Whatever. Another weird thing, and I didn't really feel... I don't have enough news to call this a proper news item. There's a new game they're working on as part of the Front Mission series called Left Alive. Anyone ever play any Front Mission games while we're on the subject? It looks a lot to me like it's not actually, you know, I don't even know. It looked like The Division. The gameplay looked like The Division to me, except with giant mecha. So I don't know what to make of that. It's a thing, I suppose. I don't know. God, sunrises, sunsets are so gorgeous in this game. It's not often that I gush about graphics. Anyways, I don't have any news to share. Although that does lead me into my very first news item. And that's the fact that I'm dropping stuff. Hey, Indiana. Oh my god, no! Come back! Come back, Indiana. You belong in a museum. First point, news point here. Ladies and gentlemen. That's actually the Morrowind theme. I hate to nitpick on that style, but I've heard the Skyrim theme, and it's nowhere near as good. There's a reason there's no Skyrim music on this playlist, because it's not as good. So, I mentioned Left Alive, which is a game. Oh, you'll find out about the HP in due time. So, I mentioned Left Alive. Okay, it's a game. It's a Metal Gear game, or a Division-style game, and it's set in the Front Mission universe. Okay, whatever. Not really much to talk about there, to be completely blunt. But, what I do find interesting is that, for those of you not aware, the Tokyo Game Show happened over the last several days. And I only have 2 items of news to share from the Tokyo Game Show. And I've already given you one of them, which is so not newsworthy that I'm already done telling it. I'm weirded out by this. So I decided to start looking into it. And I'm like, alright, why is there no news at the Tokyo Game Show? Well, it's because there's lots and lots of mobile game stuff. This is the second news point. And I'm just going to say that as bluntly as possible, because that is the reason. It's because there is a ton of mobile game stuff. What, do you need to go out? Do you need to go out or not? Nope, nope, okay. She didn't respond. I don't speak dog, so I have to kind of interpret here. I'm not kidding. This is not me hating on mobile games. This is not me prophesying the end of gaming. This is not me being a crotchety old gamer. There is an absolute lack of anything. I'm exaggerating slightly. Roughly 60% of the Tokyo Game Show was devoted towards mobile gaming. That is a fact, without exaggeration. Oh yeah, they're adding Noctis to Dissidia. That's not news. And 15 is doing a multiplayer thing, and that's not news. I'm sorry, that's not news. We knew both of those facts already leading into this. All they were doing was confirming it. Anyways. So, yeah, it's like, okay, lots and lots of mobile gaming. And I was looking into it. What I find weird is that apparently, and I have to say this way, apparently Japan in general has started, just within the last year, really shifting gears over into mobile gaming, far more so than has already been done in several other countries, several other regions, excuse me. And yeah, we now have all of this mobile focus and this mobile fixation, and it's gotten so prolific that even Mario Run, or Super Mario Run, or whatever the hell it's called, you know, that game that everyone forgot existed, has suddenly decided to start updating again. And that's not the only one. I didn't write down all of the list because, you know, there's But mobile gaming has never had... Mobile gaming may or may not be big in the public or in the streak, but it has never been this dominant of the overall market, especially when it comes to the marketing and the presentation. There has never been, for example, a Tokyo Game Show with this overwhelming majority of mobile gaming. There has never been this overwhelming saturation of mobile gaming when it comes to announcements, marketing, press. Now, again, I'm not ranting or anything like that, or trying to say that mobile gaming is evil or horrible, but I find it strange. Really strange, because obviously mobile gaming is big. We all know this. You know, whatever your thoughts on mobile gaming are, we all know mobile gaming is big. Well, that's not mobile gaming, Corrales. I hate to point that out. Mobile gaming is not Game Boy or 3DS or anything like that. Mobile gaming is phones and pads. It kind of irritates me that that's what they have decided to term it, but that is the truth. This is mobile gaming. What you were talking about is nowadays referred to as handheld gaming. You know, hang on just a second. This is handheld gaming. And I do distinguish the two sufficiently because they are completely separate categories when it comes to development, when it comes to the market, when it comes to the very way in which they are produced, the way they're handled from a production standpoint, you know. And it does irritate me that this stopped being... because we actually called this mobile gaming for a really brief time. You remember that? And then these kind of took over, and so now these are mobile gaming, and this is handheld gaming. But whatever. Point being, moving on. Rant off. The relevant point is why... why the focus on mobile gaming? Again, going in... I know, right, Corrales? Going in again into the marketing perspective, into the development perspective, why would mobile gaming get this much focus at something like the Tokyo Game Show? Hear me out. Again, I'm not putting my opinion in on this. I'm not saying that a mobile gaming is evil or offer. We haven't even touched my opinion on the matter. What I want to know is why put this much marketing focus? Why put this much... Why treat mobile gaming as if it was gaming? You see where I'm coming from? Because you don't need to. It's mobile gaming. You know how you advertise mobile gaming? You spend some money, you go to Apple and you say, hey, I want top billing on the App Store for a week. Boom! And it's right there on the front page. New apps we love, new games we love. They pay for this. This is marketing right here. You just pull up the App Store, bam! Why not do that? Which is cheaper and provably more successful. I actually did some number crunching on this one. So why spend time and effort and money on mobile gaming that isn't needed? I'm legitimately unsure about this, and I have a theory, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't even be bringing this up. But this is such a weird question to me. Why dump all of this time and effort and focus and marketing and money on something that doesn't need any of that? As has been pointed out in chat 700 times, mobile gaming, regardless of this, is already big in Japan. Admittedly, I didn't phrase my earlier phrase as correctly as I'd like to. You get where I'm coming from on this? To be blunt, that's a goddamn waste of money. And a goddamn waste of time. And a goddamn waste of effort. There's a lot of people running around trying to be like, hey... I'm going to go and give my theory. My theory is actually quite simple. Well, in the past, when we have... No, Psychotic, you're missing my question entirely. Lol, Jen Baruda. Now, Psychotic has completely derailed me because he's not getting it. Okay. My theory is that, well, in the past, we have always promoted gaming, regardless, within things like the Tokyo Game Show. In other words, they have a process. They have a process by which they sit down and they say, okay, we're going to put this here, we're going to hire these people here, we're going to produce this here, we're going to showcase this here, and that's how you do it. So, mobile gaming, which is a different market, which is a different industry, and which does not follow the same norms as console gaming or PC gaming or handheld gaming, nevertheless, they are treating as if it's exactly the same as the previous because that's the process which they have. In other words, if I were to summarize this using my own Lorieums, I would say this is a bit of dinosaur mentality here. Well, this is what we've always done, so this is what we're going to do. But that's purely a theory. I don't actually know. If I'm being completely honest, this whole thing makes no sense to me. It's like, okay, and? Hey, Dreadlord Loki. I don't know. I do want to segue this into something. Let's do it this way. Hang on just a second. I need to pull something up. I've changed my mind on how I want to do something, so just give me a second here, please. I did a lot. There we are. No, I agree. That could exactly be what they're thinking about. They could just be thinking, hey, you know, it's just, God dang it. It's gaming, therefore we should treat it as if it's gaming. Right? That just makes sense, right? Let's burn money and make games more expensive when we really, really don't have to. I mean, Anthony, you even pointed out how much cheaper it is to develop, or maybe it was Psychotic, who pointed out just how much cheaper it is to develop a mobile game, and it is. This has been a provable fact for years. It's been one of the things that's irritated me about mobile gaming for a long time, is the fact that so many companies see how incredibly cheap it is to develop for, God damn it, to develop for mobile gaming. And have basically started doing that instead of doing, and yeah, I'm going to say this as bluntly as possible, real games. That's my opinion, by the way. That's the first time I've actually brought my opinion into this one. I'm sorry, I don't consider mobile games real games. Sorry, I don't. Now, that being said, I do fully understand that there's a place and a purpose in mobile games. I just think the distinction needs to be made. I'm even more... It's funnily enough, I'm probably more tolerant of mobile gaming than I have been in a long time, and I care about it a lot less than I ever have. Anybody who's been watching my show for a while now knows that I have been spending a lot of time over the last solid year, full year, trying to find a mobile game I actually enjoy, and I have not succeeded. Not once. I have come up with a game that's been entertaining for a bit, and then I put it down. I have come up with games that my niece enjoys, but that's it. And I have been trying mobile game after mobile game after mobile game, trying to finally find one that actually appeals to me, and I have never found one. Speaking of which, you ever heard of Terra Battle 2? You ever heard of Terra Battle? Let's ask the first question. So, let's go ahead and pull this up here. Whoops. Do I have audio? Come on, game. Don't do this to me. I'm going to let the following play without commentary. Okay? I'm doing an experiment here. I'm going to mute myself. Hang on. God damn it. I gotta update, apparently. Yes, fine. Fine, whatever. Update. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you, game? Come on. Okay. I'm gonna let this play without commentary, okay? I just realized I'm actually gonna have to mute this in a minute. Sorry, guys. Okay, hang on. It's not doing it. Blah, 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 blah. Don't care. Okay, look, I don't care. God damn it, game. Come on, you did this morning. I even did a test run just to make sure this worked out properly. Maybe this? Nope. Or you could crash. I mean, that's great too. God's sakes. Hang on. Why is this being so goddamn stupid? I just set this up this morning. Are you seriously not going to let me do this? Okay. Hang on. You know, this is why I do this stuff in the morning. To try and figure out how to make this stuff work. Without issue. It's not even here. Right! Well, can't do what I wanted to do because the game won't let me and I can't find it online. This game just came out a few days ago. It came out like Thursday or something like that. Okay. Okay. Whatever, I suppose. Next topic. See, I can't. That's the problem. Let me go and explain what I was going to do. I was going to play you the intro that plays when you fire up the game, which again, I tested just to make sure happened. And I did that just this morning, just to make sure, so I could show you guys the intro. I cannot actually get the intro to replay. It's like, there's no option for it. There's no, would you like to replay the cinematic? And there's no nothing. It's just, would you like to start playing the game? Or would you like to start spending money on the game, or whatever? What I wanted to do was I wanted to play the intro for you without commentary. Although I would probably have to mute it because they're singing. And in so doing, yeah, you're right, it was probably the update. Anyways, and I wanted to see what your guys' reaction to the intro was. So the intro is, there's this anime girl, and she's like, I will defeat you, and there's like hundreds of thousands of horrible stone monsters, excuse me. And they're like, rawr. And she's like, okay, go on, kids, and she lets the kids leave, and then she dies fighting. The end, right? Okay. Hi, Mythrock. Thank you for tuning into my stream. Sorry you're catching me when I am having production issues. Anyways, so, and I wanted to gauge your guys' reaction to that intro in a vacuum without knowing anything about the gameplay or anything else whatsoever. Now, obviously I can't literally show you it because it failed. If anybody feels like downloading it yourself, go ahead. It's not on YouTube. It's apparently just too recent. I suppose I could literally uninstall the app data. I'm not actually even 100% sure how to do that off the top of my head. Freaking stupid thing. So, whatever. I have failed you. We'll just unmirror that. I mean, honestly, that's exactly what happened. They were like, rawr, we're monsters. Hang on. What are you linking me? Ah, loud. Yeah, this actually is it up until about the 3-minute and 50-second mark. Okay. Hang on. Let's just do this. Let's just download it locally. I do have a segue after this that I was going to get into, but I'm not there yet. Where the... So what we're going to have to do... Yeah, thank you, Firogal, thank you. I will take ownership of the fact that I didn't notice that. Okay. Hang on. We got to kill the actual background. There you go. So, I'm probably going to have to mute a lot of this because of the song that's playing, because copy wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, copy wrong. So here we go. Suppose I'll read this. Break the law and punishment awaits you. That's something we all knew. But only the courageous may see what lies beyond. Which is why I... ... Terra! In this world, evil turns to stone and lay dormant. The pure will light up and awaken, but beware. An aura too strong gives life to good and evil. Sarah, sorry. We're so sorry. It's our fault. We asked you to find the dragon's tooth. It's fine. I'm not blaming any of you. Now wipe those tears. But I had a feeling that it would end this way. What? Keep this. It's a USB. I told you what it is. Oh, sorry. Promise you'll return it to me one day. Huh? I trust you to keep it safe. Sarah, what did you just... Ah! Sarah? Sarah! And they're gone. Take care. This is where I die. Okay. And suddenly becomes Naruto. Sorry. I said I'd do no commentary. You're beginning to understand, aren't you? You're going to die here with me! And then this is officially where the actual video ends. So it's interesting. Sorry, we're going to cut this off there. It's interesting that that's actually different than the intro. Different music. I don't mind. It looks like I could get away with not muting that one. The other one had this whole vocal track going, which obviously, whoops, I had to mute. Or I would have had to mute, but whatever. So that's the intro. Okay, go. Reactions. What do you think? And I'm not looking for anything in particular. My intention here is I want your honest opinion. That is what I want. So, very generic, very anime, very stock, confusion. Looks too good for what it actually is. I have actually played the game a little bit. I've seen worse. Dropping in halfway to an anime show I never watched before. Looks great, like the art style, don't like the three kids. One girl had no armor or clothes, so it's anime. Gotcha. Normal. No idea. Budget was spent on anime and not the game. Extremely typical anime. I'll get into my reaction in a minute. Hey, Pico. I haven't seen you in a bit. Anyone else? They have a green mage summoner. Pretty cool. Chekhov's gun. Fairly anime. Not overly original. Mildly curious. Might literally be indifferent. So, now, I know Anthony's going to hate me for this, and I apologize, because I'm about to be negative. But seeing that intro just sucked all of the care out of me. I was like, okay, and this is really, really boring. And about halfway through, I started entertaining myself by trying to envision it in, like, with other anime settings that I'm aware of, and seeing if it would be changed at all, or if there'd be anything different about it. Which there wasn't, at least from the animes I know. Although, the one that amused me most is I'm picturing Light Yagami chasing after the dragon. Oh, I'm gonna get you. But it was extremely generic. I think that's probably the best way to explain that. But again, my emotional reaction, my gut reaction when I first saw that, when I first fired up the game was just, interest just died in me. Then I started playing the game, and of course, by the way, I'm just going to tell you, the first mission is 3 kids asking the girl to go get a dragon tooth in that chasm, in that canyon. That's the first quest. And I was just like, okay. And I played a little bit into it. And I tried some of the missions, and I put it down. And the only reason it's still installed on my phone is because I wanted to show it to you guys. I will be uninstalling it after this Loreweek. I mean, so part of the reason this is so disappointing to me is that's Mistwalker Studios. Now, I imagine some of you don't actually know who Mistwalker Studios is. All I'm going to say is Hironobu Sakaguchi. Now, if that doesn't explain it, he's the old FF guy. He was the one who worked on FF 1 through 9, to some extent or another. And that's pretty much his studio now, Mistwalker. And he has been, this is not his first mobile game, actually. He's been going pretty heavily into mobile gaming in general recently. And by recently, I mean the last, like, couple of years at this point. And, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, because it's not a crap mobile game. And I will definitely say that. I've played crap mobile games. I've played disgusting mobile games. You know, I've seen that what's the FF15 New Empire, whatever? That's offensive. That is so disgusting and morally bankrupt that actually offends me, you know. I've played all the bravest, you know. I've played a bunch of mobile games that are just garbage. This is not garbage. I want to make that absolutely distinctly clear. But I was so disinterested in the overall process that I was just like, I do want to say one thing positive about Terra Battle 2. It looks like they looked at mobile gaming as a gaming platform and tried to make a game for the gaming platform. Now, if that doesn't sound unusual, you guys have not been playing as many mobile games as I have, because most mobile games are not actually designed to be a game played on your phone, if you understand what I mean. Most mobile games are designed to be flashy, to have gacha perspectives, to have gambling built into it, and to basically design to psychologically rip as much money out of you as possible. There are exceptions, of course, but the overwhelming majority of mobile gamings are not designed to be a game on the phone. And this one is. So if anybody's interested, I do recommend you go ahead and try it out. Terra Battle 2. It's available now. I'm not going to pull the thing back up and get it back on the screen. It's a weird grid-based flanking game. It's effectively a battle puzzle. And that's probably the best way I could explain it. And yes, there was a Terra Battle 1. Yes, obviously. Which I believe was also Mistwalker Studio, excuse me, to answer the question who asked that earlier. It was Venters. Venters asked that earlier. So I have to give simultaneous props, and at the same time, I just find myself kind of groaning. Because it's like, props, guys, you know, you're making a real effort, and you're trying something real, but, you know, I'm surprised the health bar hasn't come up yet. I mean, I know you guys have brought it up, but that's not what I mean. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the next thing here really quick. Let's just move on. Let's talk about mobile gaming. What? I call it like I see it, okay? That's pretty much been my rule for like the last 5 years. I'm just honest with you guys. But no. Hear me out. I am one of those people who enjoys investing myself into a game. Now, I don't think that's that unusual of a perspective. I'm sure actually plenty of people in chat like to be invested in a game, right? In fact, let's make this a question. How many of you guys like being invested in your games? Either emotionally, or in terms of the gameplay, or in terms of man hours you put into it, something like that, right? How many of you, right now? Real question. So we got Grey Wolf, we got Huanta. I don't want spam lurker. We got Firugile, Kelson, Corrales, Anthony cannot. That sucks, Anthony. I'm sorry. Max Time, Pico, Tonic, not Mandarton. Oh no, Mandarton's just kidding. Sorry, my bad. Not a lot of time. It's funny you bring that up, Anthony. So I'm seeing other than Anthony, and I'm not trying to call you out, Anthony. Uh, damn it, Voth. Pay to wait. Pay to wait. Hey, Zawan. Do you like being invested in games, Zawan? Real quick, just boom, boom. Gut reaction to that question. I need music. I'm sorry. I'm going to get the Morrowind music going again there. There we go. That feels better. Mythrock says yes. Equalitas says yes. Zawan says yes. All right. Let me explain mindsets here and talk about the irony of the modern age. Now, I don't know how many of you are in this boat. I am in this boat, although I have a wonderful thing that makes me very grateful for my job. But I know a lot of people are in this boat. Most of my friends, in fact, I think 100% of my friends are in this boat. And that is the boat of don't really have time for hobbies. Whatever those hobbies may be, whatever it is that really interests you. Maybe it's gaming. Maybe it's tabletop gaming. Maybe it's pen and paper gaming. Maybe it's cars. Maybe it's card games. Maybe it's television. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's making music. Hobbies. Things that we enjoy. Things that we like to get invested in. Now, as much as I personally do spit a lot of venom at mobile gaming, and I will accept that mantle, one of the things that has always made perfect sense to me is that mobile games are what I like to call... Hang on, I just realized I have to rephrase that. I was about to call them crack games, and then I realized you guys are going to completely misinterpret that. Let's call them slivers. We'll call them slivers. That's a better word there. Let me explain what I mean. Here's your schedule, right? There are cracks in your schedule where you have 20 minutes. Now, if you want to sit down and play a game or write some music or write whatever, right? You have 20 minutes to do that. Now, how many of you have had that emotional reaction to, well, I only have 20 minutes. I don't want to sit down, fire up my PS4, wait for it to load, pull up the game, wait for it to load, play for 15 minutes, put them down, etc., right? I bet a lot of you know what I'm talking about with that mentality. I only have 20 minutes. That is what these actually do well. They fill in the cracks in your time. That's why I guess cracks games would actually be a better way to put that. Cracks games. And so that, in my honest opinion, is the reason why mobile gaming has taken off to such an insane extent. That is there's other factors, of course. But it's so easy to understand why so many people want to fill the cracks in their time with something that they at least enjoy, right? Now, and I'm with you, Max Time, because it doesn't work for me, because I don't enjoy mobile games. I have tried so many times for a year, for a solid year, trying to find a mobile game that I could use to fill in the cracks of my time, and I have never found one. Although, as it happens, I do have my own solution to that. Because even though I may get invested in a 3DS game or a Switch game, I can do this after my 15 minutes are up. And it's paused. And I can get right back to it in a couple hours when I'm done with my work, when I have another 15 minutes, and just start playing it again. This is my solution to that problem. This and the Switch, actually. The Switch, this is one of the reasons I have been so hugely positive towards the Switch as a platform, is because it has the exact same function for me. It's got the pause button right there, so you can pause in the middle of a game, and it's portable. Boom. But again, I'm not trying to get preachy, that was just my solution to that problem. And honestly, I didn't even start doing that until I kind of started giving up on mobile gaming within the last couple of months. But this is so understandable because there's no real honest solution for, I want to sit down and play Long War 2. I want to sit down and play Caveman to Cosmos, right? And I do. These are things I want to do. How exactly am I going to be able to do that within the cracks of time that I have in my life, right? You see where this is coming from? And this mentality is something that is just kind of all over the place. And I've seen it in so many different people. My own sister, who does not enjoy mobile games, will pull out a mobile game or two, usually Connect 3, that's usually her thing, and will play it for 10 minutes while waiting on the bus because she has nothing else to do, and she wants to fill in the 10 minutes on the bus. Or actually, it's the subway in her case, but same difference, right? You know, it's the train. Because, you know, parking is an issue around here. Right? I mean, that's understandable, right? Now, I want to bring in one other thing, and I know I've talked about this before, so forgive me, but I would like an honest reaction. How many of you out there have ever sat down and said, I'm going to bring my 3DS, you know, to the food place, you know, like when you're going to be waiting there, or to, you know, on your way to school, or on your way to work, and you're going to be sitting there, in the bus, or sitting there in the train, and just play this, right? And you've thought about this, and then you've said, well, wait. And however this thought has phrased itself in your mind, you've thought the thought, well, I don't want to be ostracized. I don't want to draw attention to myself. I don't want people looking at me weird. Have any of you ever had a thought like that? I know I have. And when I have been out and about, I have had many occasions, probably in the hundreds at this point in time, where I've been out with my 3DS. Like, I was at the car mechanics just a little over a week ago, or a little under a week ago, last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I was at the car mechanics place, right? Had my 3DS, and I was getting weird looks from the mechanics. It's the most recent time. Last week, I have had people look at me weird for having a game. Now, you already know where I'm going with this. Have you ever had that thought with this? Do people look at you weird when you're playing a game on your phone? Even if they know you're playing a game on your phone. If you have your phone like this, there's a pretty good chance you're either watching something or you're playing something. If you're doing like this, nobody looks at you weird if you're playing a game on the phone. Nobody does. Oh, that sucks, Dakota. Hi, Dakota. Yeah. Yeah, you all get it, don't you? This is culturally acceptable. Now, okay, I'm speaking with the perspective of living in the United States, obviously. So I don't know if this is like this in the rest of the world. But in every state I've lived in, when this has been available, no one even glances at you if you're playing on the phone. But you pull this out, and people just kind of go. And occasionally people will even comment if they're feeling bold enough. I actually had one person, I was sitting at a Greek restaurant waiting for my order. I had to order out. And I had a person sidle over and say, why are you playing a kid's game? I'm not doing the tone right, but you know the tone, right? Why are you playing a kid's game? There we go, that's a little better, right? You know? Was he Greek? No. Now, just to throw this into even more stark contrast, I have seen women and men both in business suits. Lawyers. I have seen, corporate people. People who are usually, from a normally, culturally acceptable perspective, seen as, higher class or more professional or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right? I have seen those people just playing a mobile game. And no one bats an eyelash. Why would they? It's normal. And in my opinion, this is the second of 3 major reasons why mobile gaming has exploded so much. Because we're gamers. Statistically speaking, if you're listening to me right now, you are a gamer, one way or the other. You either have been or you are right now. I mean, that's pretty much my show, right? I mean, I cover geek culture in general, but the overwhelming majority is games. And we, gamers, have that reaction to this. How do you think a more normal person thinks? What do you think a completely ordinary person who doesn't play video games as a hobby is going to think? Think about that. What would I say makes a gamer? Mentality. Third reason is, of course, development costs. Well, Cashel, today we're going to be cooking Albert! No, sorry. I agree, Ventures. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree. The third is development costs. Everyone knows it is much cheaper to develop a mobile game than it is to develop a not mobile game. That's just true. That has been true since forever. Even now, when people are spending more money on developing mobile games, even when people try to make a decent mobile game, the development cost of that game is still a fraction of a game on the 3DS, or the Switch, or the PC, or the PS4, or the Xbox 9, or whatever. I've come up with a new recipe. Mobile games are cars from India. Hey, my car was from Yugoslavia. This was a few years ago. My current car is not from Yugoslavia. Especially since Yugoslavia... Yeah, anyways. Moving on. Was there really, Anthony? Wow. Oh, yeah, I meant to share this on Loreweek. Just real quick thing before I go into my next topic. So yesterday, I was out getting lunch, and there was a bus parked, and I mentioned I go by a bus like every time I go out and about, right? Because there's buses everywhere. And I was driving by the bus, and as I was driving by, I'm like, I need to look at the bus ad and try to remember what it was. And I commented on this yesterday when I was playing XCOM. I remember it was pink, and it was about cars. Now, I swear I'm not doing this on purpose, but I just kind of wanted to add in to the mentality, because I talked about bus ads so many times that even while I was deliberately attempting to remember what was on the bus ad, all I remember is there's something about cars, and it was pink. Anyways. Oh, awesome, Takoida. I do hope you enjoy it. Yeah, Barbie cars, that's it. Clearly, that's the answer. Oh my god. Anyways, let's go ahead and segue into my next topic. I'm done talking about mobile gaming. Finally. I know I didn't really give any answers, just critiques, but I mean, honestly. So who out there has played or seen Injustice 2? Real question. Anyone? And now I'm going to play my mobile game. Actually, I'm going to uninstall Terra Battle. I'm just going to get it off my phone. Go away. You're wasting my space. I guess there is one mobile game that I keep installed here. I will admit that. It's Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. I keep that on there for the show, because every time a new story mission shows up, I go play it. I hate that game, but I play it for the show. So it looks like several people have played Injustice 2. At least a few people. Don't add for it. Okay. Cool. How many of you have heard me talk about bullet point syndrome? I imagine a few of you. I'm just going to move forward with this one. So there's a game that came out very recently called Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, I have no idea how good the gameplay is of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I don't. I have not played it. But I actually bothered to sit down and watch the about 90 minutes of the story of MVCI. And, wow! I may actually have the very first example of bullet point syndrome that is not Call of Duty that I can use. Because the story's terrible. Like, it's so clearly obvious that they were like, okay, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna do the Injustice thing, or the Injustice 2 thing. It's like, alright, let's do it! Let's do it, yeah! There's gonna be a story mode, and it's gonna make people care about the story, just like Injustice 2 did, and it's so bullet pointy. I actually can't explain. It's just bad. Like, it's not even make fun of it bad, or delightfully enjoyable bad. No, I was just sitting here like this, like... It probably doesn't help. It probably doesn't help that the voice actors sound like they were really bored reading their lines. I'm serious. They sounded so bored. The only voice actor who threw himself into his role at all was the guy who played Sigma. And he was half of the voice of his character. I mean, there's a line which should have been awesome. Dante tosses Ebony and Ivory at Rocket. And Rocket's like, na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, right? That should have been an awesome scene. But it sounds like, hey, Dante, can the ladies come out to play? That's Rocket. And then Dante's like, yeah, sure, why not? Toss. Ebony. Ivory. Let's dance. You know, it was like watching a bad high school play. And I hate myself for saying that. It was immeasurably disinteresting. And what's funny is, when I first saw the synopsis of the story, I was like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. I'll go and give you the synopsis really quick. Sigma and Ultron have both merged. Like I said, Sigma was half the voice. So Sigma and Ultron merged, and they have gotten a hold of the space and I think the time gem? I forget the other gem, but they've gotten a hold of 2 of the gems of the Infinity Stones, and they've used them to force multiple different realities to merge into one fusion reality, right? Yeah, thank you, Gnarlex, for the link. If anybody wants to be bored, there you go. In case you think I'm making this up. And so they've decided to merge this into one new reality. And it's some of the design on the background and the art design is actually pretty good. They do a pretty decent example of, like, merging the Mega Man X feel with the Sonic feel, and occasionally with, like, the Marvel feel. They do a good job of it. Props there. And so I'm like, okay, I'm with you. And of course the heroes have to unite to defeat Sigma Ultron. Okay, I'm with it, I'm with it. And then I started watching the cutscenes. Oh my god, it's so badly presented. Like, on paper, okay, yeah. There's even a scene which should have had tremendous impact, where they have to decide whether or not they're going to release Thanos in order to get him on their side to fight Sigma and Ultron. And just that right there, just that in a nutshell, like, ooh, that sounds interesting, you know? And then they had to be like, okay, and then they're going to go ahead, but unfortunately it looks like one of their own has already been infected with the Sigma virus. That would be Thor. None of this is spoilers. This is like 5 minutes into the game, or 10 minutes of the game, or whatever. So it's like, okay, cool, awesome, this, I'm with it. But then you actually watch the scene and it's like, okay. I guess. You know? Bullet point syndrome. Because, again, I can't speak for the gameplay. That's a separate category. But it very much feels, I don't know if this is true, but everything about that entire story felt to me like, oh, Injustice 2 made this a thing. And let's be honest, Injustice 2, while it certainly has its flaws, and it certainly has some cheesy story moments, is very well performed, very well motion captured, very well acted, you know, in general, and decently written. But then this, you know. Again, I don't know about the gameplay, so... But I find it so sad, because anybody remembers when they first did the announcement trailer for MVI, or MVCI, excuse me, I was like, oh, cool. You know, that sounds cool to me. It's the whole reason I decided to watch it. Anyways, so I'm out of news. I'm gonna finally shut up. However, so people have been asking about the can I ask a weird favor? Could someone donate some bits really quick? Just like 2 or 3. If anybody has any. If you don't have any, that's fine. I'm just curious. Cuphead? What do I have to say about Cuphead? He's garbage at games. The end. Moving on. There's nothing to talk about. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work trying to get the nicest background. There we go. Thank you. Now, did it work? Doesn't look like it worked. Hang on. Why is it not? Damage per bit, 1. Yeah, no, that should have worked. It is set up to acknowledge bits as damage. What's Epic Games, Equalitas? Why is it not? No, I'm just poking at a new tech. That's all I'm doing. I had some thoughts for this, but it looks like it's not working at all. Like, it's literally not even updating as I have changed it here. What the hell? Yeah, it looks like it's literally not working. Oh well. I just thought it'd be a nice little thing. Maybe if I force an update. Well, now it's gone. Let's do this. Okay. So, this is a test bit alert. Is my HP gonna move? Nope. Whatever. I give up. It's not working. Moving on. Whatever. I'm also very disappointed, legitimately. I'm kind of sad. Nobody commented on the new setup we have. Nobody commented on the new setup we have. Anybody? I also have the wrong background on. I just noticed that. God. Now, I know some of you will be like, what do you mean, the new setup? It's new as of yesterday, actually. Nobody commented on it yesterday, but I figured it was okay. Nobody should comment on it yesterday, because I was tiny in the corner. I figured it'd be more obvious here. Let me go ahead and tweet a picture. Be right back. Ah, there we go. I'm actually kind of sad nobody noticed. I noticed immediately. As soon as I set it up, I was like, oh man, that looks so much better. Oh well. So yeah, I have completely new lights here. I actually bought some studio lights and set them up here, and are, yeah, completely new. Completely different positioning, completely different everything. I'm a little sad nobody noticed. Whatever. It's also less headache-inducing, so that's kind of nice. Because the light is being distributed by the umbrellas, so nowhere near as bad. Anyways. What did I use before? Lamps from Walmart. That was all I had, really. I had to actually completely redo quite a bit of my room's layout to be able to get the studio lights to actually fit in here. Because as you can see in the picture, they take up quite a bit of room. In fact, this one's literally right next to my bed, so I have to kind of be careful when I'm asleep. But anyways. You don't have to say that to make me feel better, Corrales. Yeah. So I'm gonna chop off Loreweek. Make sure you go voot. By the way, we have a voot right now. Part of which is on the. We actually have two votes, but the main one, the most important one, is I want you all to vote on future premiere runs. Lurker's been linking it a few times in chat. Please make sure you weigh in on that. Anyone watching this right now is my intended audience for future premiere runs, so please make sure to weigh in on that. And we also technically have another vote for whether or not I should dump the money and watch Star Trek Discovery and do kind of a live, or not live, but basically cover it at all on the show. That's the other vote. That's unrelated. Don't care as much about that one if I'm being completely honest. So, chopping off the local recording.